2, that I'd been to his office and we discussed it, and 3, that he'd ordered me to come in at 8 a.m. the following morning, well, I chose 8 a.m, and actually phone the Queen and tell her not to allow it. And he denied it. And more surprisingly, so did Lord Fellows now. You can imagine everybody else is a bloody lord, I'm still a peasant. And I'm the one doing all the work. But anyway, you can imagine. But so, anyway, I was aghast. I thought, what's going on here? So I started to think, is there a conspiracy here? There wasn't. And he, somewhat pompously, had said, well, if that message had been conveyed, this is Condon, I would have done it. Well, bollocks. He used to be piss scared of the royals half the time, when I wasn't. So I often said I was Welsh. They're not my queen, okay, we agreed to be united, but I'm Welsh, they're German, end of story. So anyway, I had a huge disrespect inside for them. So it allowed me to be completely dispassionate, and I won't go into other stories with my conflicts with them, but I wouldn't take no crap from some of their lackeys, and boy do they have some lackeys who think they are. So anyway, if they listened to me, Diana would perhaps still be alive. So that's the story. And do you know, my wife was going to be called to the hearing to testify that I'd come home late that night, the night before, and I said, I don't believe this. Fired is taking the kids on holiday. I'm dead against it. And I told her for once what I was doing, because I had to be up at 6 to go back, prepare myself, evidence, blah, blah. And then these bunch of Nunus deny it, I ever said it. So I looked the judge in the eyes, as close nearly as I am to you, and I say, well, I can look you in the eye and assure you I'm telling you the truth, because I was. So anyway, I don't know what that was about, but that was an interesting one. Oh. So anyway, when I retired, off I went, and I've been a sort of private detective, investigator, a helper, and advisor. I've looked after people like Tetra Pak, Hans Rousing, the richest man in the world at one time. Other very, very rich people, and it's been very interesting.
You did touch on a phrase, what if, earlier on. Give me some examples of what if you had to anticipate.
Well, that's it. What, me personally, or in my profession?
In your profession.
Oh, where do I start on that? Well, I suppose some cases I could have done better. I'm trying to think what ifs. I mean, some of the... Perhaps
not the actual individual cases, but if your what if sense, if you like, turned out to be protective and worked.
Oh, well, I mean, there's been numerous incidents of that when you're going into a dangerous situation. Your instinct or your ability to foresee or think ahead. Numerous occasions, from tackling armed criminals on occasions where they've pointed guns at you, chasing people in cars. I don't know where to start on that instinct, or instinct when we stopped some vans on the elevated section. They turned out to be IRA suspects, you know, when with the Queen in Pembroke Dock. The local police trying to do their best. I went down with my people just as one of my visiting things, and an Irishman comes up and gives a bunch of flowers to the Queen. Well, that's strange in itself, and the Nunus hadn't stopped him. So I stopped that man, because I was some distance. Who's that? Oh, they wanted to give him flowers. So I said, stop him, who is he? Turned out he's a well-known IRA. They were practicing.
Really?
So that's an instinct for you. But so I said, well, we stopped him. We took his name, Paddy Murphy, from 20 Ballymena Road. And the amazing thing, he gave us almost his right name with a slight variation. I said, well, how did he get here? Where's his car? Oh, we didn't think of that. Sorry, I'm emanating a South Walian accent, but we didn't think of that, didn't it, man? So I said, well, get your frigging brains into gear. He must have got here. How did he get here? Go and search it, you know, find him. Anyway, that's another story. But it's that kind of instinct. I can't, so many. There are stretches, like a journalist, I'm sure. And like, so many different scenarios. In Japan, when I was in the low life there areas, you know, I was taken to see the head of the Yakuza in a blackened out car, and I was really pooing myself. They thought I was still a policeman. That's the only defence I had. That was frightening. But he was very charming. He turned out to be an American who'd married the daughter of the Yakuza, and he controlled the nightclub when I was investigating the Lucy case. And then a few other times I did S4C, a program in Welsh where we were investigating how easy it is for young women to go from hostesses to prostitutes. And the lady there from Channel S4C, she was very brave. We put her in as a decoy. And we nearly got ourselves in some dreadful scrapes, or she did. And I had to get her out of it. So that was interesting. So yes, it's been some interesting places, you know, and occasionally I've been whacked. And you can't get yourself out of it, and you just take a thumping.
Really?
As they say, yeah. So sometimes your instinct can't always be there, or if you're back, and when I was kicked unconscious, on the day Diana got married, that was an interesting one, or rather, uninteresting. Do you know what hurt? They stopped my overtime at 2 a.m. when I went taken to hospital, or whatever it was. That was bloody nasty, wasn't it? Yeah, it was double time, too.
What happened?
Well, I saw yeah, no, it was. You remember those days, the pubs weren't open all day, but the pubs were because it was a bank holiday. And in Hammersmith, I was a sergeant then. I saw a guy called Buchanan, and he was wanted for GBH, grievous bodily harm. So there's three of us in a van in the old Black Maria, and I was in the front. My driver sat next to me, No Neck Jones, and an ex-army officer in the back. And anyway, I saw this chap. There's only two of them outside the pub. So I said, "Well, you're nicked," which he didn't particularly like. But I didn't see, as I was nicking him, his mate go back in the pub, and the whole family, Irish, came out, and he resisted arrest, and I think he kicked me in the head, or he went down. He got 3 years for it, 3 or 4 years, I think. Anyway, I got right beating, and that was that one. So, but then
Did you never think you were in the wrong job?
No. Oh, good Lord, no.
Never?
Never. I loved it. The only time I thought was when I had these new as bosses, when I went to Royalty Protection. I never had bosses like it. I really didn't like them. They didn't like me, I don't think.
Di, you're not far off your 60th birthday. If you were still in charge of the police in this country, what would you do? How would you change it?
Leadership.
Leadership.
Absolutely. I would make it essential that anyone going above the rank of sergeant demonstratively showed leadership skill and was put in operational roles where those skills are tested. Excuse me. And as you go higher, no one above the superintendent should be promoted unless you've shown exceptional skills in our ability to articulate, in man management or people management, and also what is becoming eminently more sensible, practical policing, and a willingness to be strong, to be convicted, and not to bow to either political or any other kind of pressure which doesn't purport to maintain honesty and decency in the law. And I am appalled at some of the behaviour of some of my former colleagues and their lack of backbone. I am appalled.
That's an awful way to end, Di, but your own life is an exciting one.
Well, I haven't left yet.
No, you haven't left. No, but I mean, what you've just articulated there is food for thought, isn't it, for anybody who's interested in the public well-being?
Yeah, I'd love to go on a selection process, but when you see, I mean, you saw that, I'll give an example, the female with a hairstyle, and she couldn't look and articulate without reading a paper. Now, when you get to chief officer, surely you can memorize what you want to say, even if you can't think it on the spot. But unlike, you look at army officers generally, they can have a conversation, they sound, whether they do or not, that they know what they're doing, and often they don't. But the whole point, if you look at the shooting in Cumbria, you've got a overweight chief constable who was more worried about his own reputation than that of the 9-10 people who had been killed, and the failure of police to go in because it wasn't safe. This not going in because it's not safe for a policeman is just beyond me. You go in because other people are at risk. Lifeboat men don't think, oh, it's bloody Force 10 out there, I might get rough. True professionals, yes, of course you take precautions as far as you're able, but you surely do not stand by and allow people to be terrorized by a gunman whilst you, a trained individual, wait for a risk assessment. I find this beyond abhorrence. I get so angry about it.
Well, you've never actually waited for the go, have you?
Not really.
You've dived straight in.
Well, I do now, as if you ever heard me on radio or television. I don't mince my words. And that's why, hopefully, the people invite me back because he'll get an honest opinion. It may not be a right one, but it's from the heart.
What age are you now?
I'm 60 in 4 months' time.
Okay, what do you want to do with the rest of life?
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And I do enjoy it. I can't wait to wake up, because every day is exciting. And tomorrow I may be in London with a case, which is a difficult one, defending a nightclub. We really, if I was a policeman, I'd have shot him months ago, but I've been paid to defend him, so I'll do my best. And he's listening to me, you know. It's better. Since I got involved back in March, there hasn't been anything like the incidents of violence and stuff. And it's bad. He wasn't a good manager, and he's not managing the resources that he has. But by giving him and sitting down with him and saying these are the criteria, you can see a light dawning on in his thing. But he's got to be strong. And he's got to be strong with his customers, and he's got to be strong with his police. And he mustn't kowtow to police. He must say, you know, X, Y, and Z, because people are intimidated by policemen. And that's how the police get away with it. And my advice to anyone, if in doubt, say nout. If you're guilty, say nothing, because the police will twist it. And it's easy to pick on vulnerable. I get so annoyed with them. My son's a policeman, so I have to... you know, I have huge respect for some policemen, mainly the lower ranks. But even some of them, the shaven-headed things that go around these days, picking on motorists, I get annoyed with them too. Particularly if they pick on me, as they do occasionally.
What sort of epitaph would you like on your gravestone?
Oh, he tried. I do. No, he tried and he cared. I passionately care. I care. I'm patron of Kidscape, which is a great honour, which is a children's anti-bullying charity. And whilst I'm not a very good patron, they only gave me a patron because they probably thought I could get a royal on board. I genuinely care about children who are beaten, abused, and all the rest of it. So that's another passion I have. And I'm their spokesperson when they then really speak in Wales, which is a great honour. But there's lots more I want to do, really.
I'm sure.
I haven't stopped yet. Avoiding the taxman is another... that's
Join the queue.
Oh yes, absolutely. I don't like the taxman or the Batman.
Well, David Seaborn Davies, you've contributed to life in Wales and outside, I think, to a degree that I don't think I've ever met in anyone else. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Great pleasure chatting. I really enjoyed it.